I welcome into a very special edition of the Lab presented by Wolverine and Davis. Man, thanks so much for joining us. Congratulations on the win. I'm going to talk to you here in a second, but there's a reason. I know you and I have been talking off camera here. To our viewers, thank you for tuning in. This is a big episode. Yes, it's the game. It's Ohio State, Michigan week. It's almost like a holiday for us. And with that, we want to leverage that competitive fire and find a way to do good. So last year, myself and a few others started a fundraiser called The Game Gives Back. It's a competition similar to the blood drive, Ohio State versus Michigan, where we are trying to raise money to put back into the communities of both fan bases. Ohio State edged us out. They won by just under a few $1,000 last year and raised a little over $45,000. Michigan was right about $44,000. 100% of the proceeds went back into the communities. So it went so well, we decided to run it back. This year, the money will be going to Mott's Children's Hospital. So I'm sure all of our viewers know about Mott's Children's Hospital. It's a big part of the athletics. Davis, I know it's a big part of your life and you're passionate about it. So I'm going to link the bio, the foundation website in the bio. It's thegamegivesback.org. Right now, we've already raised in history, we're coming up on $200,000 total. Right now, I will show you Michigan has raised $32,000, a little over $32,000. Ohio State's at $41,000. So we need you guys' help. And with that in mind, okay, so I just laid it out to you. We have to beat Ohio State. We have to raise money to go back to these families, to go back to these kids in Mott Children's Hospital. Here's the exciting part and why this is special with Davis Warren. We're starting a campaign asking our viewers to donate $16 for number 16. So click the link in the bio below, donate 16 for 16. What's really exciting is we have a donor, a former manager of the football team, a guy by the name of Mark Jacobson. He works for Morgan Stanley, a great guy, big fan of the program, and big fan of this mission. He has been huge in getting this going. He is going to match all donations up to $25,000. So if we can get you guys, if you can donate 10 bucks, 16 bucks for 16 would be great. However much, we now have a guy that's going to match it up to $25,000. I personally will be matching the next $5,000. So if we can get you guys to help us, if we can raise $30,000, that $30,000 will be doubled and going back to the families and kids at Mott's Children's Hospital. So thank you guys. A big part of this was, I was thinking last year, Davis, what a blessing it is for the biggest problem and worry in our lives is our alma mater or our team going to win in the game on this weekend? Like, man, that's the biggest problem we have. This is an opportunity to leverage that competitive fire and help some families and kids that have much bigger problems. So 16 bucks for 16, gamegivesback.org, link in the bio below. Davis, I want to give you a chance to speak for a little bit, man, and talk why this was important. I reached out to you earlier in your season, and I know you had a lot going on. You asked a lot of things. I said, man, is this something you'd want to be involved with? You said yes right away. Actually, you kind of got on me. You said, man, I was waiting for you to reach out. So there's a lesson in that. Thank you, brother, for being involved with this. 16 for 16, number 16. I want to give you the floor.
Yeah, I mean, when you reached out to me, that was, I was just excited to be a part of it. I kind of saw a little bit of it last year, kind of how it all went down, even though we lost. We won on the field, we lost in the fundraising, but we can go 2-0 this weekend.
Yes.
Get 2 wins, beat them, and on the field and in this, the game gives back. So, and it being important to me, I mean, I know a lot of people know my story, but I was diagnosed with leukemia in 2019. Being from Los Angeles, got treated out at Children's Hospital Los Angeles, and just super grateful for the doctors and nurses and everyone who was there for me during that. And it was tough 5-6 months there where I was getting chemotherapy. Didn't know if I was going to play football ever again. Didn't know if I was ever going to leave that hospital, really. And those are all thoughts that go through your mind. And it's even crazier to think about the fact that all the people who at CHLA or even around the world who, you know, did the research, found the cures to help, you know, beat cancer in a lot of ways, and I wouldn't be here without them.
Yeah.
And so that was a really special thing, and it's important to me to feel like I want to give back, and kind of coming out of that whole experience, and um, you know, seeing the reality of what happens in a lot of those children's hospitals, I just realized pretty quickly how important it is to give back
Yeah.
and to give back to kids in need, to make my journey feel worth it, really, to feel like, you know, you always ask that question of why me? You know, why do I have to go through this? Why do I have to deal with all these things and, you know, have to, you know, fight for my life, really? And by going to Mott and visiting a lot of these kids, having relationships with a lot of them, um, kids who are battling cancer or even kids who are battling other things. They do a lot of great stuff at Mott, and I realized how special of a place Mott is. Really can't say enough good things about it. They do an incredible job of take not only just taking care of the kids but the families,
Yeah.
and making them feel welcome, making them feel like, um, you know, they can support their child, and also, you know, that's I think that's the biggest thing that gets forgotten a lot when people go through these things or families go through these things. It's not just the kid going through it; it's the whole family, right?
Yes.
You know, the
Yeah.
family spending so much time in the hospital they can't, you know, care for the rest of the family or drive them to school or different things like that. And I think Mott just does a great job of making everyone, you know, supporting everyone in the family, everyone who's trying to help. And then on top of that, they just have world class care and, you know, an incredible research department. They do a lot of great stuff, and it's been a real honor to go be around that place a lot, meet a lot of the people that are doing the work,
Yeah.
to try to, you know, make this world a better place. And I'm just so honored to be a part of it with you guys, and make it a competition, you know,
Yeah.
and a healthy one with, you know, the best rivalry, you know, in
Yeah.
the world. So it's pretty cool.
Well, and I say this too is like, man, listen, it's I know you've talked about how it's affected your leadership and your perspective on the world. And these are kids that, I mean, gosh, I'd almost say you're almost naive in a sense when you're a kid to how cold this world can be at times. And then all of a sudden you're hit with this, and it is like an acceleration on life. And when you come out the other side, you come out a stronger person. You've overcame cancer. You've overcame serious sickness and disease. The world needs leaders. The world needs people that have picked themselves back up. So part of this mission is to help these children and these families so we can have the next generation of leaders that are healthy and hopefully one day beat this disease, beat this sick disease. And man, for you, your journey, how important was it, like your supporting cast? How important, how much were you able to lean on help to help you overcome your battle with cancer?
Yeah, it was huge. I had a lot of people in my corner, kind of my village, as I like to call them, and it wasn't just my family; it was my friends, football coaches, even, you know, people have been asking about it. Jared Goff was someone who reached out to me when I was going through my journey and just offered some words of wisdom. And
Wow. I didn't know
um,
that.
yeah, that you know, I still have the video he sent me on his phone, and we've ended up kind of having a relationship through working with the same guys out in L.A., same quarterback coaches. And you know, when I was having a bad day, and I just needed a smile or a sense of hope or something like that, there was always someone there to provide that for me.
Yeah.
And that was really special. And I think kind of just going off what you said of, you know, helping these kids and giving them the support that they need, like, you know, even just being able to go into those rooms and talk to them, and tell them that, like, hey, like, don't think that you're falling behind in school or falling behind in this, or some of the kids that are in high school feel like they're falling behind and trying to get to college. I always tell them, like, man, this, you know, when you're able to not if, but when you're able to
Yeah.
overcome what you're going through, like, man, this is going to set you up, and give you superpowers,
Yeah.
of having a great mindset, having great perspective on life, waking up every day with just, you know, with an ability to have a smile on your face because you're not in the hospital
Yeah.
and you're not having to go through whatever you're going through. And I think it just, and even I you know, we took the whole freshman class on a little field trip there. Me and Chris Bryant, who works in kind of the football kind
Big
of
Chris.
operations side of that. Yeah, and we took all the freshmen for one of the mock visits, and even just coming out of that, talking with some of those guys, how much they enjoyed, being in there, and it really opened their eyes, and they were like, man, like that was that really hit me, being
It
and because a lot of
charges
them
your
have,
soul, man. It charges your soul going in there, and
and
those kids help us. It's crazy how it
totally. I
works.
always tell them that. I say, hey, like, I just like, a lot of them say, hey, like your story inspires me, but I tell them, I say, hey, you inspire me. I hope I inspire you half as much as you inspire me because
Yeah,
I walk out of there and the fact that I even get to walk out of there and having gratitude towards that and just knowing that you know you can't have a bad day, and being
yeah,
grateful for what you have and um, I think it was eye opening for those freshmen and a lot of them are like, man, I want to go back. I want to keep giving back and helping out and making a difference. So it's just a really special place, and I think this just elevates it even more.
thank you, man. Thanks for sharing that. And again, guys, thegamegivesback.org. Excuse me, it's gamegivesback.org. I'm going to link it down in the bio. Gamegivesback.org. You click on the website, you'll scroll down a little bit. You're going to see a button that says Give Now. It'll lead you to a page where you can select Michigan. If you're an Ohio State fan that's watching this, donate to Ohio State. We don't care. If you want to, here's the thing, donate because you love Michigan or donate because you hate Ohio State. It doesn't matter. The money's going to a really good cause, and we're going to make a huge impact. Again, the mission here is $16 for number 16. If you can give more, please. If you can't give 16 bucks, whatever you can give, please. Thank you very much. $16 for number 16, gamegivesback.org. Everything will be linked below. We really, really appreciate you guys in the Michigan community. And if you could share this with your family and your friends, if you could share this, the momentum's going to be huge, going to make a big difference. Thank you in advance. All right, Davis, big week. Already kind of buried the lead here a little bit. The game gives back. It is the game. First off, congratulations, man. Let's start with yesterday. Congrats on the win. Best the offense looked all year. I mean, what a win. Just take me through. I mean, it's senior day at the stadium. It's it was really a must win for the team. Just kind of take me through the day, man. Overarching thoughts on the big win.
Yeah, I think it was big for us, especially coming off the bye week. You get a lot of time to lose into Indiana like that. Um, did you lose me there? Am I still
I
there?
don't know what the heck just happened.
There we go. We're back.
Good. Okay.
I'll restart that answer.
There we go.
Yeah, I think you know huge just to get the win. Coming off a bye week like that and a loss at Indiana, where that taste just sits in your mouth, and you feel like even doesn't matter if you practice good or whatnot. Like you still feel like, man, like we got to go get a win. We got to go get a win. And we talked about it. Coach Moore talked about it. Max talked about it. Is making it. It's not a bye week. It's a buy-in week. And I think that week really set us up for success in the game because you wouldn't have. It looked like the first day of fall camp out there. We were flying around the first day. Even the young guy scrimmage got pretty electric with a goal
Nice.
line sequence, which I know you remember those.
Yes.
And that honestly really set the tempo for the week of like we're going full blow this week and really trying to attack it. And I think that just set us up for what happened Saturday and the success that we had on offense. And I think the coolest part was in the first half we were really throwing the ball more. I think we had 150, 160 yards in the first half throwing the ball, and receivers, tight ends did a great job. O-line protected really well. Even hitting Dono and Kalel a couple times in the flat was kept the offense moving. And then we had that 2-minute drive before half was massive. You work you guys probably talk about it all the time, but you work on those every week and get one to pay off, especially after we had a chance to go win the game at Indiana on a 2-minute drive and didn't do it.
Yeah.
So being able to flip that switch, put some extra work into that and have it pay off was huge. And then you come out in the second half and the O-line just, stamped their foot in the ground, said, we got this.
Yeah.
And Kalel and Dono ran the ball great. And we really, poured it on in the second half, running the football
Yeah.
and some complimentary stuff in the play action game and different things. But just being able to do both is huge. And I think really put the defense off guard a little bit, and then being able to convert in the red zone too. So just proud of the way everyone battled, and ending this kind of homestand on our terms was really important to us.
Big shout out to our sponsor, Wolverine, as there is a new collab with Wolverine and U of M football players, guys like Colston Loveland, Alex Orgy, Donovan Edwards, Mason Graham, all your favorite players, basically. You can head over, you can see it all over social media. These guys doing photo shoots. What can't they do? Modeling the new clothes in new gear. I'm wearing the flannel, as you guys know. It's fall. Got to wear flannels. But there is a new special edition Michigan branded Wolverine work boot. It's beautiful for the fall. Actually, would go really well with this flannel. So basically, if you guys want to shop this collection, shop the new work boots, shop the new collab between Alex Orgy, Mason Graham, Colston Loveland, all these guys, head over to wolverine.com/blue collar. Again, that's wolverine.com/blue collar to shop the collection and learn more about Wolverine's NIL campaign with hardworking Michigan football players. So,
man, just how much different do you feel? And I know you won't say it, you're humble, but I said it when I called your Michigan State game, where I was like, man, I think this season could look a little bit different. Michigan is much better than the record. This season could look a little bit different had Sharon stuck with you. And I get he's in a tough spot as a first-year coach trying to find answers. But, man, your confidence seems to look night and day. You know what? Actually, I don't know if I could say that, because you were always confident early in the season. But just your poise and your anticipation, maybe your understanding of the offense, you look like you've made progress. Can you kind of talk about the difference between the Davis Warren we saw yesterday versus the Davis Warren we saw earlier in the season?
Yeah, I think just the mindset, being, understanding this idea of being a point guard back there. And that's the number one goal of playing quarterback. And speaking of Jared Goff, he had an interview with Belichick where Belichick was saying how, he used to always tell Brady, we can't get any yards until you get rid of the football, whether you hand it off or whether you throw the ball. Like, obviously it doesn't apply to every quarterback, and I think I got a little wiggle in my step. But generally speaking, like, we can't move the ball until you get rid of it. So being smart with the football, if you don't think it's there, moving on, going to your next spot in the progression, trying to find a target. That's huge. And I think that's something that I've really, taken a lot of pride in these last couple of weeks, and, try to do my best in terms of just, hey, we can't move the ball until I get the ball out to these playmakers in space and let them work. And, like, knowing when it's not there, moving on. But then when it is there, taking advantage of some of those opportunities. So I think Coach Campbell did a great job helping me out with that. We watched, 200 clips of Jared Goff checking it down to a running back over the course of those weeks that I was kind of on the sideline, and that really kind of reset my perspective of feeling like, hey, just because we call this doesn't mean, we have to throw it,
Right.
And, defense is getting paid too. So sometimes, they're going to cover it, or they're going to call the right coverage, or they're going to, the look we were thinking we were going to get, we aren't getting. And that's okay, and we can call it again, or we can move on and adjust and do something else because of that. So that's just been a huge mindset thing for me. And I think it's, paid off in some of these games.
And today's episode is brought to you by Top House Peanut Sauce. It's the third condiment your kitchen, tailgate, and cookout have been missing. Ketchup and mustard may be classics, but Top House brings that next level flavor you didn't know you needed. With rich, creamy peanut goodness and the perfect balance of sweetness and spice, it's a whole new umami experience. Ready to make Top House the third condiment on your table? Order yours now at www.tophousefoods.com. Just so you know, I'm on the board. I have a vote for the John Mackey Award. So we're getting ready to the finalists, and I'm making a push for Colston, man. There's obvious ones like Tyler Warren at Penn State. I mean, he's been balling. We can give him his flowers. Fan in there, Bowling Green, having a crazy, crazy year. But, Colston's put up good stats, maybe not the stats of Fannin. But I'm trying to say, guys, like, listen, you got to watch the film. And I think what's most impressive, for whatever reason, there's just naive narratives that go outside the program. That guy's playing so hard. He plays so hard when he's on the field. plays so hard. Can you just talk about Colston and what he
Man,
brings to you as a quarterback?
I think the best way I describe him, and this is a Coach Harbaugh thing, Coach Harbaugh saying, when they throw dirt over him one day, he just wants to be referred to as a Michigan man. And I
Mm.
think Colston Loveland is like the
Damn,
best
I haven't
example
heard that. He
of
never said that to me. I've
really.
never
Oh,
heard that. That's a
geez,
great
maybe
one.
that was a more recent thing, but
That's amazing.
I'm sure when you were there was some talk about like being a Michigan man and what that means and stuff, or maybe that was more of a Coach Harbaugh thing later on. But just the type of guy who cares about his team, cares about his teammates, cares about playing the game at a high level and with a ton of class and doing things the right way every single day. And I think Colson does that. And on top of that, he's supremely talented. I mean, the guy, no one man can cover him. It's funny seeing what some teams do to try to cover him up. Um, and when we've needed him, he's made big plays for us. And on top of that, I know, he's not crazy involved in the run. He's not like Max in the run game, but he still gets in there,
Yeah.
and gets involved and is willing to, stick his nose in there and put some guy on the ground, move some
Yeah.
guy from point A to point B. And he's been asked to do that here in Michigan. He's done that, and Michigan man. And I think that just applies to him as a player, as a person, and every single snap. He makes that true and fights for extra yards. And I know he's got a lot to look forward to and a long career ahead of him. But I do know that this week he's going to be ready to go and fight till the very end to try to help us get a win.
Let's talk about this week, man. Just the obvious question. If you kind of paint the picture a little bit, what's different for you? I mean, is it different already today? Will it be different when you put on the pads on Tuesday? Will you put the pads on sooner? What's different about the preparation this week?
I think we talk about it and this is something Coach Harbaugh talked about that I think Coach Moore has continued to stress, and something. I mean, Coach Harbaugh really understood the importance of this game, playing here, being growing up here to a certain extent, playing here, then being back as a coach. He understands how important this game is, and you see it up on the walls every day. What are you doing to beat Ohio State today? And we talk about it as a team, like coming into each Monday for that next game week, like it's the Monday of Ohio State week. And that's a conversation that's get had. So I feel like, we've done that to a large part. And, I don't, for myself personally, I take a lot of pride in my preparation and attacking each week and trying to have that feeling. But then when it's actually here, it is another level. And you do feel that sense of urgency. And this is a great opportunity in front of us. And I'm just excited to see the way we go to work this week. Already started today and heading into Monday and the rest of the week, like how this group is going to attack it and, be prepared, from the coaches, the players. And then when Saturday comes around, we can just play free, play loose and go have a blast.
I told you we were talking pre-show, just like in 2013 was my freshman year, and Ohio State was number 3 at the time. We were unranked. I believe we were 7-5, we were 7-5 going into that game. And no one gave us a chance, and it ended up being a 42-41. We had a 2-point conversion with the chance to win, and just didn't get it. This one is different in that sense. I know. Trust me, the toughest part is working in media, or I got to relive some of these memories. But it's been joyful to cover you guys as you've dominated in the past few years. But you talked about the importance of believing, and how important do you think last week was, or do you even think it matters? Can you maybe just talk about belief in general, the dynamic of belief this week?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, just manifesting that idea that you're going to go out there and give it your all. And that's something that I believe strongly in, of, having that mental makeup, that mental preparation to believe that you're going to have a, opportunity to play your best football and win the game. But I think as a team, I think this week was important for us, to head into this week with momentum and feel like, we played some of our best football of the season last week, and that our that our best football, could even be in front of us. And you throw the records out, you throw everything else out, and realize that this is just a really great opportunity for us as a team to finish and have that resilience and have that grit and all those things that we talk about, like being about them. And I think that's going to be. I know that's going to be the message tomorrow
Mhm.
from Coach Moore. I know he'll have a little more up his sleeve too. That'll get everyone fired up. But like I said, like I'm just excited to see the way that we put the work in this week and convince ourselves that with every rep in practice, every minute of film we watch, whatever it is, that we're more and more prepared to go
Mhm.
win this football game down in Columbus because I know that we more than are capable and have the horsepower to get it done.
Yeah, horsepower, the offensive line, and I don't know how much you've watched tape, but they got a good defensive front. They got a good defensive line. To me, this game's going to be won and lost in the trenches. Their offensive line, they lost their. I don't know if you follow it. They lost their left tackle. His name's Josh Simmons. Was probably a top 50 pick. They just lost their center. Was probably an All American. So they've had to shuffle across their offensive line. Going to be fun to watch your D line that matchup. But your
Yep.
side of the football. The offensive line, in my opinion, has grown throughout the season. And again, like you're replacing six guys, six of your top offensive linemen from last year. And now it just seems like the unit settled in a little bit and they're much more comfortable playing together. How confident are you as a quarterback going into this matchup in that group?
Supremely confident. I think the way and like the way that they protected in the first half when we were throwing the ball more, and then the way that they established their dominance in the run game in the second half. They're firing on all cylinders right now, and they're ready to go. And I think they're excited for this opportunity, and I think they're ready. This is a group that has really won us the game the last 3 years, whether it was in 21 with just the total dominance in 22 when we needed those runs at the end of the game, with Dono included, stepped up, and then even last year, up three, game on the line, needing to kind of ice the game and finish it how we wanted to finish it, and we drove down the field mostly running the ball, and we're able to kick a field goal to kind of put the game just barely out of reach for those guys. And so I think the O line understands that. They understand the tradition that we've built the last couple of years of trying to win the football game, and I know that they're more than up for the challenge.
What are you most excited for? I'll just ask you a few more. Just what are you most excited for in this matchup?
I think that us versus everybody, that Michigan versus everybody approach that we've had. It rings super true when you go into a hostile environment like that. Maybe the most hostile environment in any game in America, or maybe in the world.
Yeah.
Really. So it's going to be a really great opportunity, and I know being able to silence that crowd and make them quiet down. As we take the momentum and make those things happen, like that's going to be. I'm looking forward to that, no doubt. And how we're going to do that is just by sticking true to us, playing one play at a time, and playing the way that we know how to play as Michigan. And so I'm excited to see us do that. And I know that feeling. I felt it in 22 when we were there, and I'm gonna have to talk to JJ a little bit this week to get some more tips and tricks. But I'm excited to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Real quick. 2022, when Don breaks that run, what was take me through the sign? Like what do you hear? I always felt it was interesting that the sounds of, and I don't know. It's weird as a play. You don't necessarily, you're not listening. You can feel the
No,
sound almost. Like what was
you
that
can.
like when Dono
Yeah,
broke that?
it's just like that energy getting just pulled out of the stadium. Like you felt it, like the collective groan. Because it's like a groan and then like a silence. And then
Yeah.
you kind of hear just like there's some noise of like, obviously people like, bickering at each other, sitting next to each other who I'm sure were pissed and like, all that stuff. And so there's like still like a certain noise that's there, but it just sounds different, and you feel it. And you also feel it from them too. I know speaking from the guys who were on the field, especially up front, in that game, they could feel it, and feel those guys kind of start to wither away, and I know that that's we're going to do truly everything in our power to make that happen again, and I got no doubt that we're going to have a great opportunity to do it.
You're damn right, man. I'm fired up. I'm fired up to watch. Last one, you mentioned, hey, you're going to reach out to JJ a little bit, get some advice. Big news in the Michigan community. They're the future quarterback committed last week, Bryce Underwood. What advice would you give him? What do you think it's important to know about playing quarterback for the University of Michigan?
I think, yeah, and Bryce was here this weekend. He's a great kid. Excited to get him in here, and obviously super talented, and he's and a hometown guy, so super fired up for Coach Moore and everyone, and that he's coming to be a part of this place, and that's what I told him. Like this is a really special place, and the reality is, and something that I even said to the team when Coach Moore let all the seniors come up and say something was like, man, you get out of this place what you put into it. Doesn't matter if you come in as a walk-on or a 5-star. I mean, me and Bryce couldn't come in on any more different kind of terms. I don't think anyone even knew who I was when I showed up. And, Bryce before the game is taking pictures with everybody and
signing babies and
yeah, exactly. So
stuff.
It's a little bit different, but it's once you get in here, it's a true meritocracy, and like you got to earn your keep. And and I know, if you invest yourself in this place, invest yourself in your in Coach Moore and what he's preaching, and Coach Tress in the weight room and what he's preaching and what he's actually teaching, and then with your position, with Coach Campbell and the offensive staff and what they're preaching and telling you, and you invest in all that and truly buy into it 100%, and take each opportunity you can to get better, then you're going to get a lot out of it. And I've gotten a lot out of it. I love this place. I've gotten a lot out of the football program. I've gotten a lot out of the school, the university in general. And going back to there's a Tom Brady video where he talks about, he had to earn it every day in practice, right?
Yeah.
And he learned that at Michigan, and he learned to get better every day at Michigan. And I remember JJ was telling me how one of the guys with the Vikings might have been Kevin O'Connell, because was O'Connell with the Patriots when Brady was there? He might have been.
Maybe.
I don't remember, but it was someone who was in New England with Tom and then is with the Vikings now. And he said Tom would write 3 goals for practice every day that he put on a wristband, that he would put on the inside of his wristband, so no one would see it except him. But it was just that reminder. And he talks about in videos how he learned those practice habits at Michigan. Yeah. And I think that still applies. That's something I try to do. I was even I wasn't writing on my wrist on a wristband, but I was writing down, 3 goals for every practice before, these last couple of years. And that's really helped me out in trying to just find little ways and pockets to get better. And it could be something specific. It could be something more general, but I think that would be my biggest thing for him is just, invest everything you got in this place, and it'll give you that back, 10-fold, 20-fold, 50-fold. So
it's the best investment you can make.
It really is. It really is.
S&P going to return you, but S&P every year you're going to get 10%. Bitcoin you can get more, but it's a little bit risky. Somehow Michigan gives you the Bitcoin returns without the risk. It's like a guarantee.
It really does.
It's
a guarantee. So. It's a guarantee. So it's really nothing else you can ask for than that.
It's funny the kind of the cheesy stuff, man. Like I remember when Jim first got to Michigan, the spring, I had a great spring and I knew I had an opportunity, and I did the same thing as I wrote down 3 goals and I taped it to the inside of my locker so I could see it every day. And it's like, does that really matter? I can tell you I got significantly better because I had to look at my goals every single day. So
it does.
Yeah,
it does.
So great advice, man. And listen, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for being a great leader and a great representative of the Michigan football team. And thanks for carrying the weight of being a Michigan quarterback. That is a lot of weight to carry, and you make it look easy and effortless. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. And to our viewers, once again, I want to just remind you guys, asking to check out the link below. It's gamegivesback.org. We are trying to raise money and make an impact in the community. And the big challenge this week is asking you guys to donate $16 for your quarterback number 16, Davis, Warren. Proceeds are going to Mott's Children's Hospital. We're going to help some families out. And we're going to win the fundraiser this year. And we're going to win the game on Saturday. It's going to be a great weekend to celebrate.
Manifest it. Believe it. Believe it.
Baby.
Believe it.
So gamegivesback.org, 16 for 16. We appreciate you. This has been The Lab.